Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. As we usher in 2025 and embrace the unpredictability of life, we also face the uncertainty of the physical media business. 2024 brought all sorts of changes, such as Best Buy and Target completely bowing out and removing all inventory from their shelves. Big Lots has been facing troubles of its own and closed hundreds of locations throughout the country. That left physical media enthusiasts with fewer and fewer choices to shop for movies in stores, with Walmart being one of the only options left for new releases. And if you have visited the media section lately, you will find their inventory severely limited. However, some of us have our local thrift stores, such as Goodwill, where we can buy secondhand discs, and there are plenty of online retailers to choose from. But that definitely leaves us questioning, how much longer does in-store shopping for movies have left? But instead of worrying about the future, let us remember the past, as I show you all DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks I bought in 2024. From television series to Dollar Tree and Goodwill favorites, and even some new releases, let us take a trip down memory lane. Alright, so let's get into it, and the first title I'm going to show you is a television series, and it is Josie and the Pussycats, the Hanna-Barbera Diamond Collection, and I remember buying this from Big Lots. I do believe this is released on the Warner Archive Collection, this original series, as well as the follow-up series, Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space. And I bought this because I love that old school animation, those old school cartoons, you know, from the 70s, the Hanna-Barbera whole collection, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo. And even though I don't have a problem with streaming services, I think streaming services are great. Of course, the one downside is that they can remove the content whenever they want. And that is what happened with Josie and the Pussycats, because it was readily available on Max, and that's actually how I watched it on Max, and then Max took a bunch of the stuff down. So I found this at Big Lots. I can't remember what I paid for it, but I went ahead and grabbed it and added it to the collection. Inside it does come with a insert including the episodes. There are 3 discs. There are 16 episodes here, and of course the downside to this is that they are stacked disc. It's not, you know, whatever you call those things, but here they are stacked disc. So you could see here is disc 1, and there's disc 2 right below it, and disc 3 right below that. What do you call those things? Whatever holds the multiple discs, like they did in the old school DVD days. So here is Josie and the Pussycats, the complete series, the original 70s TV series. And don't forget, there is the live action movie with Rosario Dawson and Tara Reid, and then what's her name from She's All That, Rachel Lee Cook, I believe, and Parker Posey is in that one too. That's a really good satire, I guess, on the music industry. It's a good movie. It's not a bad movie, so check that out. And the original 70s series, Josie and the Pussycats, the complete series, the Hanna-Barbera Diamond Collection DVD. So let's move on. All right, so next I'm going to show you a fairly new release, and it is The Holdovers, starring Paul Giamatti, directed by Alexander Payne, who did Election, and Divine Joy Randolph won the Academy Award for her performance in this film. And then there's Dominic Sessa in that as well. I enjoyed this movie very much from 2023, and I actually believe I saw this 2 times in movie theaters. I enjoyed it that much, and recently this was added to Shout Factory 4K, but I actually opted out for the Blu-ray because it comes with a digital code. I'm a fan of digital codes. You know, I'll buy the Blu-ray, I'll buy the disc, and then just watch the digital most of the time. You know, I mentioned in the intro that Best Buy and Target removed all their inventory. I remember going to Target and seeing this with a slip cover, and I was so disappointed that I didn't grab it when I had the chance, because I went back and tried to look for it and it was gone. And you know, I eventually just bought this off of Amazon, and I didn't, you know, There was a few times I bought stuff off of Amazon and returned it because it didn't come with a slipcover, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna just keep doing that. It's okay if it doesn't have a slipcover, because it's just gonna be sitting on the shelf anyway, and I'm just going to watch the digital anyway. That's pretty much why I bought this, is the digital code. I'm definitely okay with not upgrading to the 4K because it has a slipcover. No, that 4K doesn't have a digital code. Shout Factory doesn't do digital. So that's why I bought it. I enjoyed this movie very much, a very good movie. It could be slightly depressing because you have Paul Giamatti, who I guess he's kind of like a lonely type of man. They call him a curmudgeon because he's an asshole. What the movie's about is that the kids who don't go away for the holiday season have to stay at the school with Paul Giamatti. Maybe 6 or 10 kids end up staying, but they all go away. Their parents change their minds and send them away for Christmas, and the only one left is this guy. I forgot everybody's character's name. I think the only one I remember was Mary Lamb, because I thought that was kind of like a ridiculous name. Her character's name is Mary Lamb. That's kind of funny, but she has a sad story as well. Her son died very young, so it could be kind of depressing, and it has that theme. The holidays can be depressing for some people, especially if you are lonely or you lost someone, and this is a very family-oriented time where you come together with family and friends. But not everyone has that in their lives, so these people are stuck together, and they decide to kind of go on this road trip to find his father. And also, what I want to mention is that it reminds me of that 1991 film Dutch with Ed O'Neill and Ethan Embry. That's a really good movie, 1991's Dutch. So here is from 2023, The Holdovers. Highly recommended for the holiday season. Gives you like a 70s vibe, especially with the intro, how it plays like the old school logos. It plays the old school Universal logo and the Focus Features and the Miramax logo. And also it has those, digital specs, like it was shot on film. Maybe it was shot on film, I can't really remember. But here is The Holdovers from 2023. Let us go into the Dollar Tree portion, and I have 4 movies here, 4 Woody Allen films. I know Woody Allen is not everyone's favorite, but he's definitely one of my favorite filmmakers ever, and I decided to try to up my Woody Allen collection. Maybe if I can't have every single Woody Allen movie ever made, I'll just try my best. And I know at the Dollar Tree, they do carry his films. This one I did buy at Goodwill, Match Point, with Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Rhys Meyers, and Brian Cox from Succession is in this film as well. Now this was part of the Woody Allen renaissance of like 2005, I believe this film came out. This one was considered a return to form from Woody Allen, so definitely a good one here. This does take place in the UK as well. I always hate these like locked DVD cases where you have to unlock it. That always sucks, and there's no insert inside, but you do have a disc. This is a Woody Allen favorite here. So here is Match Point. Okay, and we have Stardust Memories, Radio Days, and The Purple Rose of Cairo. I bought these all at Dollar Tree. Now the one bad thing about Dollar Tree DVDs I'm finding, I may have mentioned this before, but sometimes it's not that these films skip, but there's like a little shudder to them. It's kind of odd, and I could just be like, oh well, it's $1, it doesn't really make that big of a deal, but it does. It is kind of like sort of a distraction, but I don't think I'm going to upgrade to a better version just to avoid that little shuddering. It's just kind of a warning to you guys all out there. If you buy Dollar Tree DVDs, I don't know if it's all of them or what it is that is actually happening. I tried different players, throughout my house, and it all kind of seems to do that shuddering thing. It almost seems like it stops for a frame or so. It's a really weird thing that I've noticed when I buy stuff from Dollar Tree, which is why I don't usually like to buy stuff from Dollar Tree. Out of the 3 films I bought, these 3 Woody Allen films, I would definitely say The Purple Rose of Cairo is the best one, and I believe this was nominated for screenplay, 1985 Academy Award nominated for a screenplay with Mia Farrow and Jeff Daniels. And what it is like Mia Farrow likes to go to the movies a lot. The Jeff Daniels character is an actor, and I believe he comes out of the movie and they develop a romance. You know, at one point, like when she's watching the movie, they start communicating with each other from her in the auditorium and them on the screen. So that's a funny and it's a good one to watch, is The Purple Rose of Cairo. And remember, Stardust Memories I don't like very much, because this one I believe is just like him getting autographs and stuff like that. Yeah, a sharp satirical look at the high price of fame. I mean, I will watch it again. And it has Charlotte Rampling in there. I kind of know her from Basic Instinct 2 and 45 Years, the Jennifer Lawrence film Red Sparrow, and she's in that as well. It says Jessica Harper is in here too, and Jessica Harper I know from Suspiria, the original Suspiria, and she was in the remake of Suspiria as well. And I almost wanted to say this was Marielle Hemingway, but it's not her. I guess it's Maria Christine Barral. So this one was kind of one of the lesser Woody Allen films that I liked, but it gives me a chance to watch it again and maybe see something that I didn't see the first time around when I was just like, this movie's just okay. The final Woody Allen film from the Dollar Tree is Radio Days. And this one I didn't like either. And I mentioned this before in whatever Dollar Tree video I made, is that the little boy in this is always getting slapped by his father, smacked in the back of the head. And I just thought like, enough already. I just didn't enjoy that too much. But once again, you know, whatever I didn't like the first time around, I could probably rewatch again and maybe find something that I didn't find. An interesting thing here, another Mia Farrow film, but it's also Julie Kavner, which is Marge Simpson, the voice of Marge Simpson. So here she is in Radio Days. I want to say she's in another Woody, I believe she's in Deconstructing Harry, which is one of my favorite Woody Allen films from 1997, I believe it is. So here is Radio Days from Woody Allen, and here is the Dollar Tree, the triple feature Dollar Tree, Radio Days, Stardust Memories, and Purple Rose of Cairo, and the one title I bought from Goodwill, Match Point, to complete my Woody Allen collection here. So let us move on. All right, now let us get into some other new releases here. Even though this is a old film from the late 70s, it was recently released from Arrow Video, and it is Exorcist 2: The Heretic, starring Linda Blair and also Louise Fletcher, who is Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And you have Richard Burton in here as well, Max von Sydow, and also James Earl Jones. Now, this is a very hated film, low-rated film, but it's kind of going to be like Halloween 3, Friday the 13th Part 5, where now over the years it's going to come up in its status. It still has a bad rating on IMDb. I think it has like a 3.8 or something like that. Here is the newly commissioned artwork. Oh, you call this trays, right? Disc trays. I couldn't think of it from the Josie and the Pussycats. So it's a 2-disc special edition here, and you could see the reversible artwork here. I flipped it around for the disc here because I love that classic artwork there. It does come with a lot of special features, but the one thing I did notice, it said new commentary, director of the forthcoming feature-length Exorcist 2 documentary Heretics. And I was kind of upset because I was like, oh, forthcoming, that means it's not on here, you know, where I would expect like a documentary to be on here. But it does come with a bunch of commentaries and also 2 presentations of the film, the 118-minute original premiere version and the 103-minute international version. So a bunch of interviews and audio commentaries. I haven't dug into this too deep. I just bought it, watched it once. I always like this film compared to the first Exorcist film. It's definitely a step down, but it does have interesting things to it. Reagan and the Louise Fletcher character, it's kind of like a therapy session, and they have this shining light, like a metronome light that just goes, and it's just kind of interesting. There's also that one scene where Reagan goes to the ledge of that really tall building, and supposedly she really went to the ledge of this really tall building. So there's some good things here. And also Quentin Tarantino likes this film, so if Quentin Tarantino likes the film, then I have to like the film too. This might be a controversial thing I'm about to say, but I kind of like this film more than The Exorcist 3, The Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott and what's his name? Chucky, Brad Dourif. That one is definitely highly regarded. That one is another one that has a regular version and a director's cut. But that one, there's something about that movie that just doesn't grab me. Controversial opinion, but I kind of like this one better. You do get Linda Blair in this as well. So from Arrow Video, John Boorman's film of Exorcist II: The Heretic. Also, John Boorman is the director of Deliverance with Burt Reynolds, so that's another excellent film. I always said, oh, I would love to find The Exorcist at Goodwill, you know, for $1. But I did pay, you know, a little bit of this, the nice special edition with a slipcover, 2-disc special edition. And also this has a pretty good soundtrack. It's too bad it didn't come with the soundtrack. I believe like one of the songs is played in a Tarantino film. I can't remember which one. Inglourious Bastards or something. They do play a track from this film in a Tarantino film. So also, this is region B, so make sure you have a region free Blu-ray player. I happen to have a region free Blu-ray player, so I can watch it. So here is the Arrow Video region B of The Exorcist II: The Heretic. This is the controversial section of the video. So I'm going to show you Skinamarink, and this is very hated as well because it's boring, nothing happens. But I like this movie as well. I missed it in theaters, but I saw it finally on a free AMC or free Shudder weekend I had on cable, and I'm like, oh, finally I get to watch Skinamarink. And it's definitely one of those movies that you will fall asleep on. It's almost like a comfort film, and it definitely gives me those vibes of being a kid home alone and just like scaring yourself. Maybe you watch something scary, and I don't know, there's something about this movie that connects with me. Even though it's boring, not much happens, it's only in one location, the house. I'm happy I added it to the collection. It does come with a slip cover. There is also a steelbook of this, and I did watch this again recently. Another controversial, you know, this movie sucks. People think this sucks and it's boring. But here is Skinamarink. I heard recently that this director is doing a follow-up. Not a follow-up on this, but his follow-up in his filmography. He's going to make another movie. So I'm interested in what he has to say. So here is another, once again, a controversial horror movie is Skinamarink. Okay, and finally is The Outwaters, and I believe this guy's name is Robbie Banfitch. That's his name. So I actually did see this one in the movie theaters. Oh, that's right. They played the trailer during Terrifier 2, which I saw in the movie theater, and I was like, oh, that looks good. You know, I want to know more about that movie. So I actually went to the movie theater to see The Outwaters. And I think this is another one where there's like a limited edition, a special edition, a slipcover edition. It's okay if I don't get the slipcover. And also this one is like kind of on this streaming service I use, Canopy. But I bought it anyway. I wanted to add it to the collection. And this one I really liked because it reminded me a lot of the Blair Witch Project. It is like an updated Blair Witch Project. It's also like The Hills Have Eyes meets Blair Witch Project because they go to the desert. It's like that big build-up where they're getting ready to go on the trip, and then they go on the trip, and then they get lost, and they're going crazy, they're hallucinating. This is another controversial pick. Some people might think this movie sucks, but I enjoyed it a lot when I saw it in the movie theater, and it's just one of those that's always stayed on my mind. I compare it to the Blair Witch Project, and that one is another one that it's either a love it or hate it. You either connect with it or you don't. I connected with this one, so I added it to the collection. Some special features. It comes with the essay booklet, which I was just showing, trailers, an audio commentary, a music video. There are also the short film. There's a prequel short film and an epilogue short film. So here is The Outwaters. Okay, so our next few films are when I went on my trip to f.y.e, and they were having a buy two get one sale, so I opted in for the sale. And the first trip I bought Dangerous Liaisons, which is kind of like the original Cruel Intentions, or The Cruel Intentions is a remake of Dangerous Liaisons, which is either based on a French play or French novel adapted from the novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses. Okay, and this comes with a snapper case, and this stars Glenn Close, John Malkovich, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Keanu Reeves is in this as well. And the next few films I got is from the Christopher Guest collection. Here I also added Waiting for Guffman in a snapper case as well. And in my f.y.e video, I was talking about how this one has the Remains of the Day lunchbox, and then the My Dinner with Andre action figure set. And also Christopher Guest is the writer creator of This Is Spinal Tap, and that's another funny one, especially with Fran Drescher. It's kind of one of those subtle funny performances, you know, not that ha 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 funny. It's just like the little things that just fly over your head that make it so funny. So here is Waiting for Guffman in a snapper case, and also Best in Show, which is the dog award show, or you know, when you walk your dog and he does all those tricks and they win Best in Show. Waiting for Guffman does come with a audio commentary, deleted scenes with optional guest and Levy commentary. I guess, what's his name? The guy from American Pie. Is it Edward Levy? Eugene Levy, not Levy. Best in Show also has commentaries and deleted scenes. Oh, Eugene Levy is the like co-writer, so I guess they're like a team there. And I want to see if Dangerous Liaisons comes with any special features. Just the soundtrack remastered in Dolby Digital 5.1, interactive menus, production notes, scene access. So this is like that original DVD special features. It's like, you know, the DVD itself is a special feature. Now we go with the second batch. While I was making my f.y.e video, I saw there was one that I missed out on, which was Shop Girl with Claire Danes, Steve Martin, and Jason Schwartzman, based on the novella, the short story from Steve Martin. Oh, this one is another one with the locked case, but I'm going to unlock it here. Oh, and this one does come with the insert. So what is this promoting? Casanova and Everything You Want. And also on the back is the chapter stops. There's 12 chapters in this film. This one is about Claire Danes, who works in one of those high-end, you know, Saks Fifth Avenue shops. And then Steve Martin comes in to buy something, and then they form a whirlwind romance. And meanwhile, she's dating Jason Schwartzman, who's like floundering and is an artist, and you know, taking place on the streets of LA. So I enjoyed this one. Not the best film ever, but I remember watching this and enjoying it. And it's just one of those that always stayed on my mind. So I added it to the collection. The bonus features does come with an audio commentary by the director. Also comes with the making of Shop Girl and deleted scenes. So that's something you can't get on streaming, is the special features. So next, I also added this to the collection, which is Monsters Ball. Now this may be a little controversial because this does have Puff Daddy in it. When this one came out, it was just like, oh, you know, Puff Daddy is a great actor because, you know, he's a rapper, a producer, and then they transform into acting. Halle Berry won the Academy Award for this performance, also starring Billy Bob Thornton and Heath Ledger. So if you want to get the Heath Ledger experience, watch this film as well. But also Lee Daniels produced it. So you know Lee Daniels from Precious. He did produce this film. Over an hour of behind the scenes footage, 2 audio commentaries from the director, and then from Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton. That might be interesting to listen to since they have a steamy sex scene in this one. Contains never before seen deleted scenes, and also IFC's Anatomy of a Scene. And this is from Lionsgate Films, so you're gonna see that old school Lionsgate logo before Lionsgate became the Saw studio. I mean, I know it's Twisted Pictures, but you know, Lionsgate. Every time I see that logo, I think of Saw. So here is Monsters Ball from 2001. One of my favorites here with Emily Blunt and Justin Theroux. Every time I'm running into it, I'm like, oh, I gotta add this to the collection. I always talk about how much I like this movie, is The Girl on the Train. So I saw the DVD and the Blu-ray at f.y.e. I opted out for the DVD because it comes with a slipcover right there. And also in this is Allison Janney. Is she in that show Mom? But Allison Janney, you see her, you recognize her, funny lady. I can't really name all her films now. I believe she's in like Drop Dead Gorgeous with Kirsten Dunst and Kirstie Alley, but it was funny to see Allison Janney in this too, playing a detective, because you know, you think of her as a funny lady. This one also contains a feature commentary, deleted scenes. So here is one of these Lifetime murder mystery type of deals. I remember when I first saw this movie, it reminded me so much of like, because Emily Blunt plays an alcoholic. So I remember when I first saw this movie, I was like, man, I feel drunk watching this movie. So that's the one thing I took from it, is that it displayed the alcoholism, her alcoholism, so perfectly that, you know, I felt I was drunk. Another good thing that I want to say about this movie is that at f.y.e, it's all used movies. And when I opened it, I saw that it had a digital code in there. Now, this movie, I guess it's almost like 10 years old already. I think it's from 2016 or so. I'm always telling you at the Dollar Tree or whatever, whenever you find that digital code, to email the customer service, because if you can't get a digital code from that film, usually they'll give you a digital code for another film. They'll give you a list of choices. I actually emailed them and got a digital code for this film. So I, once again, was so happy that I got to do that, you know, so I guess I did well. Not only did I get a slipcover, I got a digital code from a used film, a used movie that I found at f.y.e. Here is The Girl on the Train with Emily Blunt, Justin Theroux, and now Allison Janney. And here is the total, I believe 6 films. Remember, it was buy 2, get 1. We got The Girl on the Train, we got Monsters Ball, we got Shop Girl, and then the 3 Best in Show, Dangerous Liaisons, and Waiting for Guffman, okay? So there was the f.y.e used film collection. We got 2 more. Stick around. Let's get to it. Now with the Outwaters, I did mention that it was like a newer version of the Blair Witch Project, and like The Exorcist 2, our next title is not necessarily a new release, but it is a new release from a studio, which was Second Sight Films, which is the Blair Witch Project limited edition. Now, I did recently the Blair Witch Project unboxing. Now, this is definitely another controversial opinion, but one of my favorite horror movies, right behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is the Blair Witch Project. I saw this in the movie theater. Okay, way back in summer of 1999. Just as I explained before, it's either a love it or hate it film. You either can connect with it or you cannot connect with it. And I remember from the moment I saw it, I loved it. And I actually saw it in the theater with my sister, and she hated it. So around that time, it was The Sixth Sense versus the Blair Witch Project. And you know, most people chose The Sixth Sense because it was a more, I don't want to say family friendly, but it could connect with people. It could connect to a mass audience versus the independent style of the Blair Witch Project. But over time, I don't hear too many people talking about The Sixth Sense. I don't see any reboots happening for The Sixth Sense. I always hear about the Blair Witch Project still. Reboots happening. Definitely one of my favorite horror movies ever is the Blair Witch Project, from the directors Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, to UCF, University of Central Florida. Film graduates starring Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard. I will be sure to link up my Blair Witch Project unboxing video so you could take a look at it. But here from the Second Sight collection is the Blair Witch Project limited edition. Also, this is Region B, so make sure you have a Region B player or a region free player so you could access the film and also the special features. Also included in this is the, I believe it has 3 cuts. It has the original cut from, you know, the DVD and Blu-ray days. And what's special about this film is that it's been remastered so that the video footage actually looks like video footage, along with the 16mm footage. And then the festival version, which has the deleted scenes or footage that you've never seen before. along with an extensive and exhaustive 2.5 hour making of documentary, which is excellent, even though it's, like I say, extensive and exhaustive, because it's just like, whoo, it needs to be cut into 2 parts, I would say, because it's very long. To watch a documentary on the making of a movie at 2.5 hours is very long. But like I say, there's not one shred of detail that's lost. The only downside of that documentary is that there's absolutely no interviews with the cast, with Heather, with Josh, with Michael. So that's really one of the downsides to that documentary, and that's why I call it exhaustive, because I think there's maybe 5 people, 6 people that get interviewed, and after 2.5 hours of seeing the same 5 people talk, you could definitely use a break, and it would have been more interesting to hear from Heather, Michael, and Josh, especially with the recent news of them trying to get what is rightfully owed to them. You know, they want to get money. So it would have been nice to hear from them, especially after all these years. I believe it's 25 years now, almost 26 years now, of this movie, of the 1999 horror classic, love it or hate it, is The Blair Witch Project. Okay, and our final film, I saved the best for last. I talked about The Holdovers being one of my favorite films, if not my favorite film of 2023, and this was definitely my favorite film of 2024, which is Longlegs, starring Nicolas Cage, and also starring that chick from It Follows. I can't really get her name off the top of my head. Micah Monroe, also directed by Osgood Perkins, who I just recently found out was Anthony Perkins' son. Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates from Psycho. So you have a great run in the family there for horror movie, Psycho, and now Longlegs. Now this movie I enjoyed so much, because what I think, and I heard a lot of people talk about, that this was like another version of The Silence of the Lambs. I talked about The Outwaters as like another version of The Blair Witch Project. This one reminded me of Silence of the Lambs because of the star. She reminds you so much of Clarice Starling. She plays an FBI agent who is tracking down this brutal serial killer, Longlegs, played by Nicolas Cage. Heard a lot about this, went to see it in the theater, and instantly grabbed me. Very dark vibes. I will say though, when I bought this movie and I watched it again, I didn't realize how slow it is. But I love slow, I love boring, good boring, not bad boring. So I really enjoyed this movie. The best serial killer horror film since The Silence of the Lambs is what the review says up here. And some people online, like on Blu-ray.com, are always like, it's not Silence of the Lambs. It reminds me of, I believe they were talking about The Cure, this Asian film, The Cure, which I believe it's called The Cure, which I haven't seen, haven't come around. I'm not just gonna buy it or rent it. I want to get it from the library or on a streaming service or something. 2-disc 4K and Blu-ray, which I don't like so much. I almost didn't buy this because it doesn't come with a digital code, but I said, you know what? I really enjoyed this movie. I want it a part of the collection, so I added it to the collection. Do get a slipcover though. I just wish it came with a digital code, but I'm so glad that I bought it because I haven't seen it come up on any streaming services yet. Yes, it's on Prime, but not the streaming services I use, like Canopy and Hoopla, which usually add the Neon production company. They usually add those films on there. But this one hasn't been added on there, so I'm glad, once again, added it to the collection. My favorite film of 2024, and also the special features here, on-set interviews with Osgood Perkins. Blair Underwood is in this as well. Blair Underwood plays, I don't want to say he's Micah Monroe's partner or the director of the FBI, but he's in there. He's in there with her. And Alicia Witt is in this as well, which I can't name an Alicia. Her name is familiar. I just can't name, any other movie she's been in. Feature commentary with Osgood Perkins, and then some mini documentaries, and then teasers and trailers. Featurettes, that's what you call them. Little featurettes in here. So I did watch this again when I added it to the collection. Haven't watched all the special features though. I can't wait to start to dig into that. So here is once again my favorite film of 2024, Longlegs, starring Nicolas Cage and Micah Monroe from It Follows, which that movie I hated that movie, and I heard they're gonna make a sequel to it, but I'm glad she got to star in a good movie that I liked, which was 2024's Long Legs. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm glad you stuck with me. Hope you have a great and wonderful 2025. Let me know what your favorite films of 2024 was, or what you recently added to the collection. Guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, tap that notification bell, leave a comment down below, and I will see you next time.